Convention and Visitors Bureau. We are celebrating Global Meetings Industry Day today, and that is an international event of advocacy to let people know the importance of the meetings industry and the important impact that it has to local communities. So what we're doing today is we're here with some of our locals who have worked to bring events or conferences or sporting events to Huntsville. I'm going to let them go down the line and introduce themselves. We have a very impressive panel here with us today, and they are a good cross-section of lots of different organizations and people that have worked to bring very different, varied events to Huntsville. So we'll start with you.
My name is Matt Weber. I'm the head coach at the Huntsville Swim Association.
I'm Carter Wells with the HudsonAlpha Institute for Biotechnology.
Hi, I'm Amy Boyd with the National Children's Advocacy Center.
I'm Sam Torrey. I'm the chapter president for the Association of United States Army local chapter here in Huntsville.
Yeah, so we'll start with you, Sam, since you have the mic. I also forgot to mention that we're actually here at the Von Braun Center, which is one of Huntsville's premier meeting and event spaces. We've got beautiful Big Spring Park behind us, and it's a beautiful day. So we're happy to be here, and we appreciate the Von Braun Center letting us use their space for this today. Sam, if you want to start with our first question, what's the biggest benefit of bringing your organization's meeting or event to Huntsville? And if you want to talk a little bit about what AUSA is and maybe a little bit about Global Force Symposium, and to give people a little bit of context about what that meeting is all about.
Great, thanks. So the Association of United States Army is the voice of the Army soldier. Basically based out of Washington, D.C., works lobbying, works education, works information on the Hill. The association has over 100,000 members, of which here in Huntsville, if we boil it down to our small chapter, which is also recognized as the best chapter in the association, and we have 3,000 members. Most recently, as was mentioned, we hosted AUSA's Global Force Symposium. It's the second largest symposium that the association puts on. They do a national one in October. We do the springtime here in Huntsville. So it brings a mix of industry as well as the military, as well as the local population all together right here at the Von Braun Center for a week-long conference that normally over 6,000 people attend. So it's a great event and a great place to have our conference.
So our conference is actually unique in that we're kind of a homegrown organization here in Huntsville. The National Children's Advocacy Center started in 1985 and has since served as a model for over 1,000 children's advocacy centers worldwide and in 33 countries. So out of that model, we quickly realized that we needed to be the premier training source for child abuse and child maltreatment professionals. So out of that came the National Children's Advocacy Center, our international symposium on child abuse. And we bring over 1,300 participants from around the world here every spring, and we have that meeting here at the Von Braun Center. We are unique in that we are the premier conference for that organization, for our industry, and we are happy to have here in Huntsville and happy to host these participants in our hometown where the Children's Advocacy Center model started.
At HudsonAlpha, we are also a homegrown organization. We're a nonprofit organization that really is centered around genomic research. So we're working on multiple types of diseases and disorders within the human health area, but then also a very significant plant genomics organization as well. So it's research and education. You also have companies that are co-located there, as well as a very strong component for genomic medicine. It's driving the research into the clinic. We've got about 800 people on our campus, and the conferences that we have and that we host at HudsonAlpha, there are 3 major conferences bringing in 200 to 300 each time from around the world, key opinion leaders in a variety of scientific fields, primarily in genetics, genomics, and biology. And so those people are coming in, they're able to see Huntsville, HudsonAlpha, from our unique capability on the genomic sequencing side, but then also how that translates back into everyday use.
The Huntsville Swim Association is a member of USA Swimming. We're a youth swimming organization. We bring roughly 5 to 6 events a year into the town. Those events range in size from just under 500 to over 1,100 athletes. Huntsville is a great opportunity for us because we are so centrally located for our region. It has been an amazing thing over the past couple of years to really see the town grow, and with the new facility here in town, we've been able to really leverage that into hosting bigger and more national level meets.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Matt. I know for all of these meetings, you just mentioned, the amount of people that we have coming into Huntsville, into the community. From your perspective or from your point of view, what is an aspect of our community that you think people that are coming in, maybe seeing it for the first time or are returning again and again, what aspect of Huntsville do you think they appreciate the most?
From our perspective, where we serve youth and are serving largely families, the biggest thing is cost. Huntsville offers a unique opportunity of low-cost housing for those families in hotels, a low cost with restaurants, but also readily available restaurants. And the thing that we get the most from people that are first time here is how beautiful this city is. And people don't realize that what a sort of well-kept secret and more not so well-kept, thankfully, what it has to offer. And it between the restaurants and the breweries and things that people have really started to enjoy, and the low cost, it's been very attractive. We're also very centrally located for our organization. We're an hour and a half from Nashville, we're an hour and a half, 2 hours from Birmingham, we're an hour and a half from Chattanooga. You start to look around regionally and the people we can draw from just the regional cities around us, we are in a unique position that really serves our community.
I think from the HudsonAlpha standpoint, we bring people in for scientific conferences, and we bring them into a STEM city. There's so many things that are going on, not just in the genetics and genomics world here in Huntsville, but throughout the engineering, throughout the technical. There's so many people with technical backgrounds here. So people that are coming in, they feel at home where as they're talking to HudsonAlpha from a scientific and technological standpoint. But like Matt was saying, you've got so many other things to offer. I mean, as you are, especially for the first time person coming in, they're going to Google the town and they're going to see we're going to be on all the good top lists, whether that's the power in the economy or the creative cities or multiple types of things that really add the flavor of the community. And so when people are choosing where to spend their travel dollars or their conference or marketing dollars, this is an easy one for them to say, okay, this is a place where we want to go. We're going to get the science that we are looking for, but we're also going to have a tremendous experience while we're there.
So one of the top comments we always get during our conference and afterwards during our evaluations is just the remark on the hospitality here in Huntsville. And it's that Southern charm. We're kind. We go the extra mile for people here. People enjoy visiting us. And time again, we have repeat attendees that tell us that when they come to Huntsville, it feels like coming home. And that's probably the biggest compliment we can get as a conference. So.
Well, there's definitely value in coming to Huntsville just because, as has been mentioned, the hospitality, the number of restaurants, the hotels that are available to when we host our conference here. But I'd say the key thing about hosting our conference here in Huntsville is the access to Redstone-Huntsville, where you have the crossroads of so many technical industries and or organizations. You've got the Army Materiel Command, you've got the Space and Missile Defense Command, you've got NASA. And so you get all that technology, and you got the industry just off coast. And it is kind of the home turf for Redstone. And so when industry and the other organizations fall in here, it's just a great opportunity. One thing that we learned a hard lesson about, so we've been hosting this conference for 5 years. And last year we decided to take our evening social away from a hallmark here. And we got so much feedback. You have to take it back to the Space and Rocket Center. And of course, under the Saturn V rocket, mixing and mingling with 800 of your closest friends, good food, live music, And we learned our lesson, and we continue to host it there, and we look forward to it. So the combination of the cultural, the combination of the industry, the military, DoD organizations, NASA, it just makes it the perfect spot.
Thank you. Those are all excellent points. So our next question kind of piggybacks on some of what we just talked about. So you all mentioned some of the great feedback that we hear from conference attendees when they come into our town. If you had to say one unique aspect of Huntsville, one thing that Huntsville has that you don't find in other cities as a host city for events, meetings, things like that, what would it be? Suzanne, you can start.
Sure, it is the convenience. With the central location of the Von Braun Center to the downtown city square, if you will, and not too far away, you've got the historical, technical, the history of the space program. We got the Davidson Center, the Space and Rocket Center. It's very convenient. You've got great infrastructure. 565 makes it very easy to transit, and just the atmosphere. People want to come to Huntsville.
So I've lived in a lot of cities, both independently and then as part of the Air Force, having been active duty before. And our family constantly asks us, why Huntsville? And I will say Huntsville is probably the biggest small town we've ever lived in. And it has a unique charm and a special gift here. And it's just a fun, vibrant city. It's growing, things are changing. They're adapting to new ideas and new business models to really just bring people downtown, but also just throughout our city. And we have several friends that we've encouraged to move here, and they're in the process of building new homes. So certainly all the things that we as a family and then as a business tell folks about Huntsville, people come here and they look around and they're like, yeah, this is a great city, and they want to be a part of it.
I think outside of the kind of the welcoming nature that has been talked about before, from the HudsonAlpha standpoint, I think it's really the town itself and the driving of innovation and in the leadership and really everybody across the community that really want to see that happen. They want to make sure that Huntsville and this community and this region's on the leading edge of whatever the industry, whatever the sector is. And I know from our standpoint, we've been a huge beneficiary of that because people are supporting us becoming a southeast hub for biotech and biosciences. But that doesn't happen without a lot of the things and the welcoming aspect and just the things that people want to, once they get here, they want to do while they're here. So it's the overall experience, but then just the drive of wanting to be one of those top cities and really already established as a top city, but how to keep Huntsville and keep this region on that leading edge.
I think for us, it's the buy-in that we get from the city to make our events work, whether it's the mayor's office and the just general city government, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Park and Rec Department, and the Huntsville Sports Commission. All of those entities work together to make your organization's event be the best that it can be, and they are as invested as you are in making it work, and it's been an amazing experience for us working with them over and over again on just the details that they go to and see to and are willing to address at the last minute that has made hosting events here different than other cities, just because that's the question we get asked the most is, how did you get your city to buy into this? And our answer is always, it's because our city's better than yours.
There you have it. The underlying theme of Global Meetings Industry Day is, again, that economic impact that the meetings industry brings to communities. And for Huntsville-Madison County, the latest statistic is that in 2016, the economic impact of travel and tourism to Madison County was almost $2 billion, which is huge. So can you speak a little bit to the economic impact of events that you've brought to Huntsville? And even if you don't have, maybe a solid number that you can throw out, just maybe talk about some of the positive impact that you've seen that you feel like your event has brought to our community.
Sure. I'll first talk about the city's investment in the swimming community, and that's what I can speak to the most. Brand new $22 million facility, and people, the first initial question is, oh, that's a lot of money. But then the first event that we hosted here had over 1,100 kids and was a $1.3 million impact in 3 days. And I think that's what the city gets is they are willing to invest in things that help bring money in and produce quality of life for its citizens. So something like a new pool or help with HudsonAlpha has been a directive to make sure that they can bring events in that make sense for the community and that kind of thing. So,
yeah, I think kind of piggybacking off that, the buy-in, and I don't mean just financial, but the buy-in by this community, and for us, it's city, it's private philanthropy, it's the state of Alabama, it's federal. I mean, we've got a lot of different people that are buying in with, and a lot of different organizations that are buying in with us. But as we're looking at the conferences specifically, we're able to bring people into a community that is welcoming to them, and we're bringing in key opinion leaders. That's going to help us from an economic impact. We've got 6, and the conferences are part, but we continuously bring talent and decision makers in, and we're now just in the 10-year mark for HudsonAlpha in our decade of discovery. And we've had about the last count, which was a study that we did, $1.8 billion over those last 10 years. And the conferences that we bring in, and frankly that might be tangential to what we're doing, you're bringing in decision makers from multiple industries. They're talking to their friends, they're talking to other sectors, and that drives more people into the biosciences world, and it really helps everybody, as long as it doesn't matter if it's on the youth-driven or the Children's Advocacy Center, or definitely with the bread and butter of this community for years and years has been with the Army. So I think you've got a diverse group of industry up here, but they're all interrelated in some way, shape, or form, and I think we're all better because of that.
So for the National Children's Advocacy Center, the economic impact here in Huntsville is probably twofold. Not only from for-profit businesses that support our nonprofit and help mistreated children and abused children here, that impact is priceless. With what our community does for our children and the support we get, everything from the mayor's office on down, local business, everything. But from a meeting standpoint, not only do we host a conference every year of 1,300 to 1,500 people, but we offer training for our industry, and we have about 15 trainings a year. You add that up into airfare, hotel night stays, food service, just the general hospitality industry, car rentals, parking spaces, that adds up for at least us, our nonprofit, to be over $1.5 million a year. That's a lot of money for an organization that started here in 1985 as a little house on Lincoln Street. So we're proud of that fact. We're proud of the support we get from Huntsville, but we're also proud of the way the community supports us.
I failed to mention another key aspect of the combination of all the different organizations that come to meet under the association's roof, if you will, is the education piece here in town, where you've got University of Alabama, Huntsville, you've got Alabama A&M, and any number of smaller colleges in the local area. And so the one thing that's neat about all that is we do come together for a week. It brings in the Secretary of the Army. It brings in the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. It brought in Undersecretary McCarthy to talk about the topics at hand. So a lot of high visibility leadership from the Army coming up, as well as all the leadership from the local area. Don't quote me, but having worked with the Convention Visitors Bureau on a couple of these interviews, I did hear some facts, and just our conference alone brings for a week brings $3.5 million to the Huntsville area. I think there's another factor in terms of tax revenue as well. But for our small little chapter of 3,000 people, the couple of events that we sponsor and the industry partners in town who sponsor our events help raise the funds for us to do our soldier, retiree, and family programs throughout the year. So it's a great benefit not only to have the conference here, but just the great support we get from the community. And as was mentioned, the leadership of the town just opens up their doors and is willing to offer anything to keep Huntsville as the primary location for our Global Force Symposium. So it's just a great combination of partnership.
Great. Well, we have one last question. We're almost there. So that's a lot of economic impact that you all are bringing into our community, and it's so vital and it's so important to Huntsville and what we're doing and what we're developing as a community. So you all are obviously huge advocates of bringing meetings and events to Huntsville. So what would you tell someone who's maybe on the fence, or someone who's never brought a meeting or event, whether that be someone from out of town who's looking on a national scale to bring a conference to Huntsville, or maybe it's someone here locally that's a part of an organization who has a meeting that they might consider keeping here at home?
Well, I think the number one selling point to convincing people to come to Huntsville, the word of mouth is out there. Okay, from my association's standpoint, they know Huntsville is a great place to come have a meeting. Like I said earlier, the opposite convention that they have is in Washington, D.C. High prices, difficult to get to, just the hustle and bustle of Washington, D.C. Huntsville, as has been mentioned also, is just a homey place to come to. So between the word of mouth and the other thing I'd say, if you haven't been here and you're thinking about it, come on down and check it out, and I think you'll be surprised.
I think we've all touched on it in some way, shape, or form, but Huntsville's a great city. It's fun, it's vibrant. We have everything here, from hiking trails to beer trails, to rocket science and great art museums. We have restaurants that know good barbecue and fine dining, and in a lot of cases they know both. So it's fun. We see that time and time again from the people that come and visit us and train with us, is they enjoy their time here and they're excited to come back every single time.
I think every organization is ultimately responsible for what they do on the content of their conference, but the support that comes in either from the Commission Visitors Bureau or the people around town, or people that just really want to support and volunteer to make each of the conferences and the gatherings successful. I mean, that's the kind of community support you're going to have, and really, as I think you've seen from each of us, if you've got questions about does the city or does the community support, I think each of us are obviously advocates for the community. Reach out to the people that are actually doing these on a daily or at least a monthly basis, and we can help you point you in the right direction and make sure that you're able to put a successful event together here.
It's a place that has everything you need without traffic, and I think convenience of anywhere in town you can get to in 15 minutes, and any hotel you want to stay in town, you can pretty much get anywhere in 15 minutes. And I would challenge you to find a city that has what we have and offers that kind of convenience as well. The city buy-in obviously is huge, and I think people love the city that live here. So you get people that are proud and are willing to be friendly to show what we have to offer. So I think all of those things combined, it's hard to beat.
Awesome. We want to thank our rock star lineup of panelists for being here with us today. We want to thank the Von Braun Center for letting us use their space. If you want to follow along with the national conversation happening today around Global Meetings Industry Day, you can do so by following the hashtag GMID18. You can also go to the CVB's website, huntsville.org/meetings, for information on how we can help you bring your meetings to Huntsville.